Hey there, and welcome back to another video. Ballads. I absolutely love listening to them. I love playing them. I love everything about them. The problem though is that they can be pretty tricky to really master and really sound good on. You might think, oh, it's just slower, so it must be easier. No, if you've ever tried to sound really good on a ballad, you know that it can be really tricky. You're very exposed with the melody, you're exposed with the chord changes, everything else. It can be pretty tough to actually sound good and authentic when you're playing these ballads. In this video, I'm going to teach you my favorite method, and I think is the best method for learning to play ballads and specifically learning to play the melody of the ballad. No, I'm not just going to say read the lead sheet here. Don't worry. I'm actually going to give you something to sound really authentic and just really good over playing these tunes. Really quick before I get into this video though, do you want to know the best way to learn any jazz standard and not just ballads? Well, I have just the thing for you. On September 30th, that's right, 10 days from when this video you're watching now goes live, I have a completely new course coming out called How to Learn Jazz Standards. In this course, I teach you my complete step-by-step process to learning any jazz standard. And here's the cool thing. You can apply this to any song in any style. It doesn't have to be jazz standards, but a lot of you told me that's what you want to learn, so that's what I'm teaching you. I teach you how to efficiently learn the melody in multiple different ways. I teach you how to embellish melodies and create your own melodies to lyrically play over any song. I teach you about the chord changes, key centers, voice leading, how to improvise over all these songs in a clear and efficient way. And the best part is, if you know anything about the way I like to teach, I don't give you any extra fluff. I don't try to make the course longer than it needs to be because that will just waste your time. This is the efficient way to learn jazz standards, and it goes live on September 30th, so be on the lookout for that. Now let's get back to the best way to play ballads. The first step in being able to play ballads really well is really the first step in learning to play any song, and that's going to be have some reference recordings in your mind when you go to play the song. If you only learn the song from the sheet and you've never heard the song before, that's like trying to learn a foreign language only reading out of a book. You might sort of get there, but you're not going to get the nuance, the inflections, the articulation, the accent, all that stuff. So what I'm going to say for this specifically is have a specific recording in mind of the song that you want to learn. I don't want you to just have any reference recording for ballads specifically. For this style, I actually want you to use a vocal version. I want you to find a vocal version of the ballad that you like and use that as your reference recording. I'm sure there's other great instrumental versions of it, but specifically for this process, use a vocal version. Because vocalists like to change keys sometimes, it might be tough to find a great version that you love that's in the key that you want to play, but look for it out there. There's a million songs out there. I'm sure you can find it. So the first step is just going to be listening to that version a lot, getting all of the non-note musical elements into your ears, hearing that, how they phrase, how they pull the melody, how they stretch the time either in front or pull it back, which is a thing that vocalists love to do and I love to do on ballads myself. That's what you're going to do first. Then from there, I just want you to play the melody the way that vocalist sang it. I don't want you to add anything else. And the thing about this is that vocalists, because they're singing the words of the song, they're not going to really add extra words or omit words. So they're just going to use the words that are there, which are the melody notes in this case, but they're going to stretch the time, the phrasing, the inflection, all that stuff. And that's what I want you to do. Don't add anything extra. Don't omit anything. Just play it lyrically the way they are singing it. I'm now going to demonstrate this just playing the melody over I've Never Been in Love Before. Check it out. All right, once you feel like you have a good handle on the way they sing it and you can kind of emulate that on your instrument, now what you're going to do is actually listen to that recording again, put that recording of the vocalist in your ears, but what you're going to do is pretend like you're in their band. If you're a horn player, piano player, whatever, what you're going to do is try to fill in some of the gaps. So if they leave space at the end of a phrase, fill in lightly. If they leave space in the middle of a phrase, maybe you're going to connect the phrase from chord to chord. Whatever you kind of feel is best, that's what I want you to do here. Some great examples of this type of playing is Johnny Hartman and John Coltrane, and also Cannonball Adderley with Nancy Wilson. So I'm actually going to demonstrate that now by playing my first recording again of me playing like a vocalist, and I'm going to accompany myself filling in those gaps behind myself as if I was the vocalist and the soloist together. Check it out. When practicing this, it might be tempting to just fill in every gap that you see, and that's actually okay in practice, just so you know what works where. Know that when you actually perform, you're not going to fill in every empty space. Space is good, especially on ballads, but for practice purposes, it's okay if you do fill in a little more often, as you heard when I just played it here. The final step is going to be playing the melody and accompanying yourself as if you're the vocalist and the instrumental accompanist. This does a couple things. One, it makes you really think about what the melody is and establish the melody, not actually change up the melody too much, but then you're going to add things to it. It's also going to really get you to think about phrasing, think about space, and think about connecting sections to one another, especially in a song like this where it's A, and there's a bridge and it goes into different key centers. So you can kind of bridge the gap between the A section, the B section, the B back to the A, using the accompanying style as the instrumentalist. When doing this, you will have more liberties that you can take because you're not just playing the melody and you're not just accompanying, you're actually doing both. So what I want you to keep in mind, though, is that the melody is still king. That's going to be the thing to aim for, and you're going to add the embellishment to it, but because you're doing both parts at once, it should smooth everything out, and it's going to work really well and sound really authentic. Check it out as I demonstrate this. There you go. This is the process that I used when I was really getting into ballad playing. A lot of people always ask me, how do you phrase ballads? How do you embellish ballads? I feel like I'm just like adding all these extra things or I'm playing it too square. This is the way to do it. Listen to the recordings, emulate the recording, embellish along with the recording, and then play both together. You'll be playing better ballads in no time, and you're not going to have to learn a bunch of new things to do it. Once again, be on the lookout for more information for my new course called How to Learn Jazz Standards, which launches on September 30th. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.